Hi guys, welcome to Cake Talk. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna get right into this. This is a question from Everything with Alex. Hi. Hi yo, when rolling out fondant, oh, why does it say, I'm sorry, something is wrong. I did start the broadcast. Okay, I can still answer you. Hi yo, when rolling out fondant, what is the best way to stop it from cracking and tearing around the outside? Thank you so much. Well, the best way is to knead it really, really well. I like to knead it with vegetable shortening if it's gotten really dry. Sometimes in the winter that happens to me because climate does affect your fondant. And you want to roll it. It's good if you can roll it as thin as possible too, because that way when it bends over the edge, there's sort of less fondant to like crack and tear open. Another good tip is as soon as you lay your fondant onto the cake, try to attack the corners. So try to smooth the corners because that's what's ripping. It's all the weight of the excess fondant like pulling down from the corner. So try to secure it there first and then work your way down. But kneading it is a really big deal and is really helpful. And also maybe try another brand because some brands are drier than others. And keep in mind the climate you live in. It might be affecting your fondant. Okay, I actually love this name. This is a question from Kaylee Takes Photos Badly on Instagram. I love that your name is like a statement about yourself. How do you keep layers from sliding and how do you get them on the cake without breaking them? Okay, well, layers usually slide when your filling is sort of on the soft or liquidy side, like lemon curd. I find that happens to me. Or if I put jam in a cake, it's more slippy, slidey. If you're using a frosting or a buttercream, that doesn't happen as much because it really sticks down. And also when I put a layer on, I like to press it down a bit. My cake recipes are quite dense, so they're not as crumbly, and often I chill my cakes. Not only do I cool them completely, but I chill them just so that they're a little bit firmer and I have to worry less when picking them up. I find the bigger they get, the crumblier they can get, so you want to pick up your layer really quickly and put it on your cake. Okay, next question. This is from Kian N on Instagram. Hi, I'm Kian. I've been watching your videos for nearly 6 months. Thank you. I love all your videos because they really make me laugh. Well, good. I'm happy to hear that. My question is, when you use simple syrup, does it make the cake sticky? Hashtag Ask Yo. No, it does not make the cake sticky. It just locks in the moisture. So you sprinkle it on and then you see the cake just sort of absorb it the way that a sponge would. And that just stops sort of the surface from drying out and keeping the moisture in the cake, especially in a decorated cake that, you decorate them for a long time. Is it dark? I feel like it's dark. Okay. Well, I hope that's helpful. And I apologize if I sound like stuffed up because I'm stuffed up. This is from the Alexandra on Instagram. Instead of simple syrup, can you use milk? My friend did it once. It was really good, but it took away the cake taste. Does simple syrup keep the taste? Yes, simple syrup keeps the taste because simple syrup doesn't really have a flavor. The reason that's water and sugar is so that it could become syrup consistency, which is thicker, and less of it sort of absorbs into the cake and it doesn't make it wet. If you were to just use water, the cake would absorb a ton of that and it would become like wet and soggy. So that's why you want it to be a syrup consistency. That's why it's boiled together. There are cakes that use milk, I know there's like a tres leche cake where you poke holes and then you pour milk in, but I wouldn't use that for every cake in the world. And I certainly wouldn't use that in, a cake that you're going to tier or shape, because again, it's going to make the cake much more wet, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So next question, Maddie Watermelon on Instagram. Are you doing something in honor of Walter Melon for National Watermelon Day on August 3rd? I love you so much. You really love watermelons, Maddie, because it's in your name and you're asking about Walter, and you know when National Watermelon Day is. Walter, you're going to see Walter really soon. You're going to see him like around his anniversary. Walter debuted last year. I think it was July 26th. So you're going to see him in honor of his anniversary and National Watermelon Day. Next, oh, let me go back to the screen. Hold on. Okay, here we go. This is from Artina. Oh boy, I don't think I can say your last name. Kukuti? I hope that's right. Hi, yo, I love you so much. How come after baking and cooling my cakes, they get sticky? I love you so much. Thanks, yo. Well, that's hard to answer. Sometimes they get sticky because they're sweating on the top. And again, the temperature of the room you're in might have an effect on that. I find with my cakes, the one that gets sticky is banana or carrot because they're so moist. So even when they're completely cool, the top surface is so moist that if it's warm in the room or when I go to like touch them and level them, they are sticky, and that's just the way they are. Again, cooling them will help, but it doesn't really change the consistency of the cake. So I hope that helps. Oh, and you're from New York, and you know I love it there. Yes, I do. Okay. Okay, here's another question. It's from Katrina Castaneda. Hi, Yolanda. I absolutely love your videos. I made your pancake cake and pot cake. Nice. I'd like to ask which buttercream is best for hot weather. Also, how do I refrigerate fondant and buttercream without it sweating? Thank you. I'm a huge fan of Italian meringue buttercream, as everybody knows. I definitely prefer Italian or Swiss to like American buttercream, which has icing sugar as the base. Hot weather is difficult no matter what you use, and it depends how hot is, but hot weather can be really difficult. You need to sort of chill your cake in between icing. It was actually really hot when I was filming here 2 days ago. I made a cake for my birthday episode, and it was so hot. You can actually see, you know, you could tell that the buttercream is soft just because it was so hot. And as far as refrigeration goes, my refrigerator, I've had something done to it so the humidity is removed, which works great for me. But when I used to bake in my mom's kitchen and use her like regular household fridge, I would just turn the setting all the way to the lowest setting. So it was cool, but not so cold that it was like wet and damp. What's hard about that is I used to take all of her food out of the fridge or tell her not to buy too much food so that I could turn it down. But yeah, definitely the cooling helps, but if it's too cool and too damp, it will sweat. And it mostly sweats when you take it out. So it's going from cold to hot. So depending on how hot your room is, the more it will sweat. Eventually it should stop sweating. Okay, next. Thank you for answering my question. It really helped. You're welcome. Everything with Alex. Next. This is from s.maddox13 on Instagram. How high can you stack a cake before it falls? I don't know the answer to that because I've never tried. Because if I watched my cake fall to the floor, I would cry. The general rule is that I add dowels at least every 6 inches of height. So I've never not done that, and I don't think I want to try unless the highest cake I've ever stacked without dowels is Walter, actually, but it's because his shape is just like a dome. It's not top heavy, and I wanted to be able to cut him in one slice. But I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. If you want to test it out, you let me know, but I don't think I want to bake all that cake and then watch it fall. Okay, next question. What do you think? This is from Bella. Hi, Bella. Oh, Bella's from Australia. What do you think the basic baking equipment I should get to begin baking layered cakes? Lots of love from Australia. I actually just shot a collab with an Australian. Yes, and it's not Casper. It's another one. Yeah, well, the best baking equipment to start would be good baking pans. So usually when I make a layer cake, I bake 2 cakes and cut them each into 2 layers, and then I have like a 4-layer cake and 3 layers of filling between. Parchment paper to line them would be great. And then definitely, of course, I'm going to suggest a ruler and a good serrated knife. And then, of course, you know, an offset spatula to fill. and crown coat your cake and a nice icing spatula to ice it. So yeah, that's definitely where I would start and get a lot of practice in. Okay, next question. This is from Sienna_link_17 on Instagram. Hey Yolanda, I love you and your baking skills a lot. Thank you. I love you a lot. But my question or questions are, how long do your cakes last without simple syrup compared to with simple syrup? And what kind of fondant do you use? And if you don't have a fondant smoother, what can you use? Wow. I don't really know the answer to lasting with and without simple syrup. Simple syrup definitely lengthens its life. And it's not that the cake goes bad without it, it just gets dry faster. But I always use simple syrup. The only cake I haven't used simple syrup on how to cake it is my poutine cake. And that got eaten in a day, so I can't even answer. And I had poked holes and filled it with caramel, so it was very moist. I can't even answer that. And then in terms of fondant, I currently use Wilton fondant. And sometimes if I use a color like black or red, I occasionally use satin ice, but I have started to use the Wilton color because I like it better. And if you don't have a fondant smoother, that's tricky. It depends. Like a cake like Walter, again, well, Walter's popular in this episode of Cake Talk. A cake like Walter is okay not to have a smoother because of his shape. You can use your hands, and watermelons aren't like perfectly perfect on the outside, and it will be painted. So a cake like that, or even shark, it's great to use your hands because you don't even want a smoother to straighten out the fondant too much. But if you're making just a round or square cake especially, that's really hard because your hand isn't as flat as you think it is, and your hand is warm, so it's not going to make it as smooth as a smoother would. I'm trying to think if there's any like object you could use instead of a smoother, and I can't think of one. I really, really can't. Because even if you were to cut out a piece of, like, let's say cardboard or something like that, eventually it would get sticky from the sugar, and a fondant smoother doesn't really do that. So I'm sorry. I wish I was more helpful. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, we were at VidCon last week in California, and both Jocelyn and I got sick because the convention center was so cold, and then outside was so hot, so it just kept going hot, cold, and now we both have colds. So that's great. This is from Molly B12 on Instagram. How many days does it take you to bake your cakes? Generally, when we shoot, each cake is 1 day, but some of the cakes that are harder are 2 days, like BB-8 was 2 days, and the shark was 2 days. I feel like there are more cakes that were 2 days, but I can't think of what they are right now. Yeah, but they're usually one very, very long day, or 2 days if I'm lucky. Yes. But in real life, when I would make cakes for clients, sometimes they took me 3 days or 4 days, depending on what they were, and sometimes they had to be assembled on site, so I couldn't finish them till I was taking them there. So it really, really depends on what they are. Okay, next question. This is from Caitlin McLaughlin _XO on Instagram. If you had another YouTube channel that had nothing to do with baking cakes, sweet treats, and food in general, what kind of videos would you do? Wow, I don't really know the answer because I've always been making cakes, and now I make them on YouTube. So I don't know what else. I could tell you what channels I love. I love channels that have to do with comedy with Connie. Connie's on my mind. Connie is my business partner, and I guess she's on my mind. Comedy. I love things that make me laugh. So if there was a channel that wanted me to be in like their skits and their sketches, I would love that. I would really, really love that. Okay, let me go back to the screen for a minute. This is from Joanna Joseph. You are here every week. Hi, Joanna. What was one of your most defining moments in life? That's easy to answer now. That would be having my son and becoming a mom, because it changes you beyond anything, and I love him so much. And I'm so happy that he's here. So that would definitely be the most defining moment. Next. Wow, Joanna, you are full of good questions. This is another good one. How do you want to be remembered? Wow. Well, I hope I'm remembered as being nice and caring and funny and passionate about my craft. Yeah, I hope I'm remembered as who I actually am. That would be great. So I hope that answers your question. Next. Oh, wow. This is a great question. This is from LYT Canelin. I want to make a cake, but it's hard when you use inches and other measurements. Would you maybe be able to use centimeters and liters, deciliters, centiliters, milliliters? Thankful for your answer and love from Sweden. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why, but a lot of people have written to me because they're under the impression that Canadians only use like centimeters and stuff. I guess that somewhere in time, Canada decided this to be true. But because we are part of the Commonwealth, it's not as true as you think it is. I use inches. Most people use inches. Most rulers have both. I find inches much easier to divide. I have used centimeters occasionally when it works out. But the truth is, you don't have to copy my measurements. I mean, it's just that cake pans are measured in inches and sold in inches. And so therefore, I usually divide them as such. And same with measurements. You know, we use like cups. Cups do break down into liters. So liters, 1 liter is 4 cups in terms of liquid. Yeah, I get asked this question a lot, but what's really difficult about it is that I need to go back to all my recipes and remake them and remeasure them so that I could tell you the conversion, because I have had people use like apps for conversion and tell me something didn't work out. So I just don't want to just punch it into an app and give you that. I would love to actually work it out. The problem is time. So yeah, but you can feel free to use any like physical measurement that you want. If centimeters make you more comfortable, then you absolutely can use them. Next question. This is from, oh, where am I? I did it again. Oh, I already answered this, everything with Alex, about how do you measure your butter in cups? Yes, so butter in this country comes in like a block, and then there's like a ruler. It's amazing. There's like a ruler built into the package that shows you where to cut it for. It comes in a block that's 2 cups, and there's a ruler that shows you how to cut it into 1 cup or half a cup or a quarter of a cup. Sometimes it comes in sticks. If you often see Canadian or American recipes, it will be written as a stick of butter. A stick of butter is equal to a half a cup. So there's usually 4 half-cup portions in that 2-cup unit of butter, which is also measured as 1 pound. So that's the way butter comes, and it's actually easy to measure. It's not like I make it soft and then put it into a cup. I just cut it where I need it. Next, okay. Uh-oh. Here's a good question. Oh, Leslie Morrison, I know you. I was just talking about having clients, and Leslie was a client. Hi, Leslie. Can you overmix your Italian meringue buttercream? I've never overmixed it. You could tell when it comes together. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't think so. No. But you really want to make sure, again, that the meringue is cool, like completely room temperature, and then add your butter. And then it will seem to like get more liquidy as you first add the butter, as it's sort of melting into it. But if you keep whipping, it's like whipped cream. It starts to thicken and thicken, and you can really see it, and it looks delicious. And that's the point at which you should stop. So thanks for your question, Leslie. Okay. Oh, here we go. Christina, I hope I just answered your question. Do you have any tips on making Italian meringue buttercream? I attempted it the other day, but had trouble with it. I followed the steps correctly. I'm confused, but I still want to make it. Yes, it is tricky. And the first couple of times I made it, it didn't do so well. And then when I got the hang of it, I really, really loved it. So like I said, the meringue needs to be completely room temperature. Your butter needs to be room temperature, not melted, not hot, but just soft. Like if you poke it, it's soft. Add that in little by little. And like I said, it will appear to loosen and become more liquidy. At that point, don't stop and give up. Allow it to keep mixing. That's why you add it in bits. If you were to add the whole bit of butter in one, it would really just sort of drop and you would think that you failed. So you add it in bits and then you see it come back together. And make sure you're whipping on the highest speed. I hope that helps, Christina. Wow, this is an interesting question. This is from Mika Boss. Hi, I'm from Florida, and I wanted to know if you woke up in the body of someone else for the day, who would you want to be and why? Wow, I don't know. Oh, you know what? I actually do. I want to wake up as my husband. That's what I want to do. I want to wake up as my husband, and I want to see me from his point of view, like on a regular day. Yes. Now I'm going to fantasize about this for the rest of the day. Thank you for that question. Okay. I'm going to go back to Instagram for a moment. This is from Lindsay Marie 678 on Instagram. How come my cakes sometimes look uncooked on the top, but the rest of the cake is cooked all the way through? That's hard for me to answer without knowing what type of cake you have made, what it was baked at, how big it is. It really depends. Sometimes when you bake, especially a large size cake, it's the center that takes the longest time to bake. So often, that's why I always say put a toothpick in the center of the cake to check it, because it needs to be done there in order for the whole cake to be done. Some recipes, like I said, like my banana cake, often it's really sticky on the top and the center just dips down a little, and it always seems like it's not done. That's why I love using a cake tester or a toothpick, just to really, really check that it is done. Okay, next question. I keep putting down my phone and I shouldn't. I actually got this handy like clip at VidCon. Look at that. It's really handy and it looks like sprinkles. Okay, next question. This is from Delaney.Ferzelli on Instagram. How many cakes do you think you have made in your entire career? Whoa. Love you and your videos. I think I've made, wow, like over 1,000 for sure. Maybe like 2,000? I don't know. A lot. A lot. That's a lot for the type of cakes that I've made. That's a lot of cake. Okay, next. This is from Carla_love123 on Instagram. Is it very important to place a cake in the fridge after frosting it and before putting fondant on it? Well, you don't have to. It's just really helpful because if your buttercream under the fondant is nice and firm, you'll have an easier time smoothing your fondant. If it's not, then that frosting can sort of be moving and jiggling around under your fondant and making it harder for you to smooth it. So you don't have to, but I find that it really helps, especially when using Italian meringue buttercream or Swiss meringue buttercream. It's really, really helpful to chill it and then put on the fondant. Also, if you make a mistake with your fondant, like if you drape the fondant over and it's not in the right position or it's not working out or it's not long enough and you have to like rip it off quickly, then it's less likely to get icing all over it and you can re-knead it and use it again. If your icing under the fondant, oh my God, I'm so stuffed up, is not set and you do that and you rip it off, then you'll have a sheet of fondant that's now like covered in icing and ruined. So it really is helpful to refrigerate between icing and fondant. Okay, next question. This is a favorite question. This is from Mrs. Jackson X on Instagram. Have you ever dropped a cake? No. I'm knocking on wood because I don't want to. I did once drop a cake out of the oven though. It was done, I tested it, and I put on my oven mitts, and the pair that I had like worn out, and I didn't really realize it. So as I was pulling it out, it started to burn my fingers, and I reacted like and dropped the cake in the pan right onto the floor, and it was like it cracked. It was the weirdest thing. It just like cracked in the pan. So I had to make more batter and bake another cake. But that cake was delicious because I ate it warm out of the pan, and I gave some to my mom. So yeah, but I've never dropped a decorated cake, and I don't want to at all. Okay, so next question. Select. This is from LYT Canelin. Again, are you ever going to other countries? I hope so. I love nothing more than to travel. We were just in LA for VidCon. So we were in America, but I would love to go to other countries. I am planning to go to Germany in the fall. I'm very excited with my husband and my son. They've never been. I have been many times. I'm hoping I can visit my family and show them things that they've never seen. So I'm very excited about that. Oh, and that I can eat a lot. Yes. Okay. Next question. Oh, we almost have to go, but I have something exciting to do. So I need to answer another question. This is from couture_cupcakes_boutique on Instagram. Can your cake recipes also be used for cupcakes? I won't say no, but my cakes are dense. So if you're okay with that as a cupcake, then that's good. There's no reason why they won't taste good. Just sometimes people like a lighter texture in a cupcake. So it's not that they can't be used, just realize that they will still remain dense, even though they're cupcakes. Next question. This is from Susan Doris on Facebook. Hi, Yolanda. I was wondering where you got all of your cake pans from. I love your channel and all the cakes you make. Thank you so much, Susan. My cake pans are actually Crown pans. I bought them all locally at different cake decorating stores within Toronto, but they are available on flourconfections.com. That's where we've linked a lot of them. I know definitely in my cake list, the 2 9-inch pans required, we linked to Flour Confections. They do sell the brand that I use, and they ship worldwide, which is totally awesome. Yeah, so I hope that that's helpful. And then also, oh my God, there's a question from Switzerland. I've been to Switzerland. Yes. Hey, Yolanda. Love you and all your vids. Question, how long have you been baking for? I have been baking since I was probably like 10, 12. Not the type of cakes that I make now, but baking. I love all baking. And I worked in a bakery. I started working in a bakery when I was 19, and I have been baking ever since. So thank you. Okay, wait. I have to, that was the last question, but I have to do something. I got a package from a pen. Look, it's from Avery. Oh no. And I actually got this package a while ago, but I forgot to open it on the last Cake Talk, and I felt so bad. So today I had it right beside me so I wouldn't forget. And I have not seen this. I have no idea what's in here. I'm going to open it up, and I hope Avery is watching. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh, hi, Yolanda. I'm your biggest fan. I would absolutely love it if I got a response from you. There is more to read in the letter. Thanks, Avery. Okay. I really want to like bust all this bubble gum because I love doing that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh wow, look at this awesome letter. Protected. I can't wait to read this, Avery. Okay. Here I go. Oh, this is so nice. Look. Look, all the names of the cakes I've made. Uh-oh. It's Avery in his shirt. He's wearing the OK But First Cake shirt. I actually love this shirt. I wear this shirt out in real life. Oh, and I can see you love Harry Potter. Avery, that's very obvious that you love Harry Potter. Oh my God, I love this. I want to frame it. Look. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have the s'mores campfire cake. We have the Harry Potter cake, butterbeer cake. We have my spaghetti and meatballs cake. We have my neon candy cake, which is a checkboard inside. Oh, scaredy cake. I loved this cake. And beach cake. Thank you so much, Avery. Oh my God. I have to pin this up on my board. I love it. Thank you. And I'm very excited to read your letter, and thank you for your picture. Okay, so this is the end of Cake Talk. Thank you all for coming. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. I will be here in 2 weeks again. And guys, I'm so excited because it's almost time for Camp Cake, which is our first ever live stream baking camp. It's on July 23rd and 24th. So essentially it'll be sort of a lot like this, like Cake Talk, because it's completely live, and I'll be baking and making 2 great projects, and anyone who joins is free to ask me questions. So I'll kind of be talking and working, which I'm excited about, but very nervous about. Very nervous about. And I hope by then I'm no longer stuffed up. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.